Shuddho buddho vimuktaha Shruti-shikhara-giram mukhyatatparya-bhumihi Yasmad-jatam samastam Jagadidam-amrtad-vyapya sarvam sthito yaha Yasyam sham shavataraihi Suranaravanajairakshidam sarvametad Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridigatam-amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridigatam-amalam Krishnameva Prapadye Madhya hridaya kashe sadanandamayo Guru udetu satatam samyak Swatmananda prabodhakaha Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tatsat. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru. We shall recite, all of you will. I shall lead and you follow. The sloka number 7 from the second chapter, where Arjuna makes a very, very meaningful and profound surrender before Krishna. Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha
Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha
Swamiji, Omkara.
I forgot, see. I was missing. We shall chant the Omkara. Why did you not remind me just earlier? We shall have, as usual, the Omkara joint recitation. The idea, as I have always mentioned, is to make our joint sound, this recitation, permeate the whole of the earth and shower its benedictions on all creatures. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth as well as the mind and join me. Now to the sloka. Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha
Karpanya dosho bahata svabhavaha
Prichhami tvam Dharma sammudha chetaha Yachreyasyaat Nishchitam bruhi tanme Yachreyasyaat Nishchitam bruhi tanme Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam prapannam Shishyasteham
शिष्यस्तेऽहं
Shadhimam
शाधिमां
Tvam Prapannam.
त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
Bhagavad Gita is a very profound text. It is a majestic and magnificent exposition. Every sloka is very profound, you should say. It will take a sufficient length of time and a substantial degree of purity, focus, dedication, concentration, depth and magnificence for any seeker to understand the Bhagavad Gita exposition properly. We have come to the 5th chapter, in which Arjuna is making a very beautiful question. Is yoga better or sannyasa better? See, Sri Krishna goes on exposing, Arjuna goes on receiving and understanding what is exposed. And whenever he feels doubt, indecision, or lack of clarity, he puts it across to Krishna and Krishna explains it. Many of the verses are very, very profound. They need consistent contemplation for any seeker to understand its true message, import, and applicational relevance. Every chapter is named after a yoga. Yoga is the subject of discussion. And you will find Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Vishada Yoga. So many yogas are there. Everything in life, everything in this world, when spiritually and Bhagavad Gita wise treated, you will find it will become a yoga practice and a yoga fruition. In Srimad Bhagavata, Krishna speaks about what? Yogas trayomaya prokta. I have exposed 3 kinds of yoga so that the human life will be crowned with the glory of yoga, the glory of fulfillment. Here you generally find Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. The Jnana Yoga is called Sankhya. Sankhya. It is actually the studious pursuit of the Upanishadic wisdom, which always is in essence oneness, oneness, oneness. The whole existence appears to be manifold, but the manifoldness of the existence is not true at all. In the absolute level of understanding and perception, you will find there is only one thing altogether here, and it is manifesting the plurality. The entire water in the sea is after all one. But you will find in many lakes, the water becomes frozen and becomes ice. And if it is ice, you can break it into several places, all of them will float on water. You tell me, the manifold pieces of ice, are they not just water, the same water, H2O? No example is fully applicable. In spite of it, we can use only these visible examples to explain the invisible and generally incomprehensible truth. In the same manner, you will find the entire manifold, the plurality that we see, is actually one thing alone. This oneness is sought to be explained and also pursued as a realizational goal. For that, Bhagavad Gita speaks about Saankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga. Connected to Saankhya Yoga is sannyasa. So sannyasa on the one hand and karma yoga on the other. Arjuna is asking which is better and which is more approachable, etc. I already have spoken about it, and we have come to discuss bhakti in the same context. We always feel the general run of our people. They have the feeling that bhakti is an emotional path, totally resting upon the emotional mind. We need not use our intelligence and deliberate anything about bhakti. But is it so? It is not. Even in bhakti, for its fulfillment, for its progression, for its expansion, for its depth and elegance, the bhakti has to be complemented by what you call jnana and its sublimation and enrichment, which always depends upon, is an extension of intelligence. So in bhakti also it is there. And I quoted from Srimad Bhagavata, Grihitva indriyairarthan yo na dveshti na hrishyati Vishnor mayamidam pashyan savai bhagavatottamaha. That man is the supramost devotee who, when he interacts with the world and his senses receive the objects, so to say, the mind should not undergo either dvesha, hatred, or harsha, delight. What does it mean? You should live in this world without being tossed by delight and depression, sorrow and happiness, height and depth. That swingingness of the mind should not be there. There must be moderation, there must be sublimation, there must be evenness, there must be harmony, there must be integration. All these can be brought about only by the timely application and refinement by the intelligence. So while receiving and interacting with the objects of the world, one should not undergo either hatred or delight. What he should do? Vishnor mayamidam pashyan. You should see all this is the manifestation of Maya. It is the illusory display of the Supreme Lord. Thinking in this manner, you should not get an undulating mind. The mind should remain even, harmonious, stable, moderate and placid. Then he is called a devotee, the best. I told the audience that day that I will speak more about this bhakti. When you advance in bhakti, how it starts operating within your own inner personality, bringing about progressive changes and sublimation, enrichment in the mind as well as the intelligence. All this is achieved by the effort of the intelligence. You should listen to or read and understand. This is clearly a role of our intelligence. Dehendriya pranamanodhiyam yo janmapyayakshud bhayatarsha kristrai samsara dharmaihi avimuhyamanaha smrutya harer bhagavata pradhanaha. He is the best of the Lord's devotee. Who is that? Dehendriya pranamanodhiyam vai janmapyayakshud bhayatarsha krishraihi samsara dharmaihi avimuhyamanaha. I am wondering, are you the listeners with me, seers with me, viewers? What is life? This has been explained many times by me. I will again explain more times. Life is experiential. It is equally interactional. There is no time in our life when we do not have some experience or the other. Even unconsciousness, who experiences it? The man who goes into unconsciousness and wakes up from there. Every day you sleep to get up to say, I knew nothing in sleep. So the I was certainly witnessing the sleep, experiencing the sleep. That is why it is able to say, I knew nothing. I wanted nothing. I was alone by myself. So that also is an experience. As it is experiential, it is also interactional. These two words, descriptions, I would like you to remember, deeply remember it. Life is experiential as well as interactional. So here he says, Deha Indriya Prana Mano Dhyam Yo. As you are living in this world, we are living with a body which was born. And subsequent to birth, it started growing. Then it reaches the pinnacle of growth, latest by 21 years. Thereafter, the next moment onwards, it begins to decline. And the decline also goes on increasing, and finally we become old. The body is unable to preserve life and prana anymore, and the heart stops. It can happen in various ways. There are people who die in sleep with heart attack, they don't know, nobody knows. Now all these are Janma, Apyaya, Kshud, Bhaya, Tarsha, Krishtrayi. During the course of embodiment, our interactional life, we undergo what? Birth. We also undergo death. Then in between, Kshud, hunger, Bhaya, fear, then desire and difficulties. All these are. Now Srimad Bhagavata describes them as samsara dharmaira vimuhyamanaha. Samsara dharmaihi. These are all the characteristics of worldliness and worldly and secular life. You are living with a body not shaped by you. Your heart is made to beat and it goes on beating for decades. You never help it to beat at all. You never guide it also. So the biological machine called the heart, it goes on beating. Normally there is a certain measure of longevity. In India the longevity has been increased considerably by virtue of public health measures, more and more understanding by people, and our resources also are improving so that we can attend to the needs of diseases, needs of the sick people. We have to improve a great deal more. All these are samsara dharma. Will you understand this word? You will never find a word like this in what? In the Western language. These are characteristics of worldliness and worldly life. Everything in this world is subject to change. So to be changeful is the characteristic of the world. Will you have a body which never changes? Then it will never grow or decline. We want to have a viable body, a breathing body, a breathful body, a pulsating body. That means it is subject to a number of characteristics and fates. So these are samsara dharma, avimuhyamanaha. You should not be deluded by them at all. Is there any man who always lives with beaming health? Health and ill health are a pair of dvandvas. Just like Sukha Duhkas, man and woman, good and bad, virtue and vice, profit and loss, gain and loss, like so many other dvandvas, health and ill health also are a pair. So we will be subject to them. If you are healthy, you will also be unhealthy. If you have good health, you will also have illness. Now these are characteristics inevitable in the context of our bodily life. Thinking in this manner, avimuhyamanaha, do not be deluded at all. The other day, we decided to go and see Balakrishnan, our devotee, and he is not very far away, within 2 kilometers. So the son and the mother, that is Balakrishnan's wife, both of them came here. We were following his condition and cases, and I felt we should go. We went, spent some time, observed, and had a talk with the son and the others. We also gave them a little suggestion. One important suggestion was they should consult the people to give palliative care for the person. They immediately obeyed it, and the palliative people came and they were of great help. Now, whenever we see a condition like this kind of a sickness, what are we to do? I tell people, understand, my dear soul, you are not the body. You are body different. You are the I. The I. The I is not the body. We call the body my body. So leave the body to its own characteristics, dharmas. Understand that you are different from the body and distinct from it, the I. This thought will enable you to bear whatever conditions arrive with a measure of lightness, composure. Our mind will become strong, intelligence will become clearer, whatever is necessary. To keep the body free of discomfort and pain is the role of the medicinal people. If they fail in it, I cannot excuse them at all. They should not allow any body to undergo discomfort or pain. Let them give any kind of a drug. The patient should not be allowed to suffer pain nor discomfort. It is the role of medicine. Otherwise, all doctors should resign their jobs and go to the forest. You cannot allow a patient to suffer pain, calling yourself a doctor. And the medicine manufacturers, they should not fail in manufacturing the right medicine to relieve a person from pain and discomfort. Let it be anything. It may even be death, it does not matter. So, samsara dharmaihi avimuhyamanaha. Seeing no disease, you should be deluded or fearful. Whatever is the disease, we will try to apply, try to give the necessary treatment. And we should know what is the outcome of each disease. Is it fatal? Is it long lasting? What should be done for the relief of the patient? We should carefully consider all this. Some of our devotees do report to us when their family member, parents particularly, are sick. I have been speaking to the person even 5 minutes before death, explaining to him. One man was saying, I am very confident, Swamiji. I know what I am suffering from, but I will bear this. I am the soul. The disease is to the body. So the bodily disease will not affect me. I will go, dissolved into, immersed into the soul. And he did do so. And the daughter was behaving so beautifully. She was communicating to us, to me. I spoke to him even seconds before his departure. So this sloka is very important, my dear souls. Will you take the trouble of reading and learning and understanding this? Samsara dharmaihi avimuhyamanaha smritya harer bhagavata pradhanaha. What will help you to do this? This forbearance, this kind of a tolerance. Smritya harehe. You should have the thought and the memory of the Parama Kalyana Nidhi Lord Hari. So the thought of God, the memory of God, what is that for? To forbear the samsara dharmas. God has not manufactured anybody, any being in this world without giving the being the necessary strength, the necessary scope, the necessary blessing to withstand the sufferings in life. Otherwise, what is the fun? What is God going to get by putting you into suffering? So I think we have to be a little patient. We should understand, we are living in a world. The world is not ours. You are of the world. The world is never ours. The world moves in its own direction. It has got its characteristics, fates, moods, plights. And we are supposed to interact with the whole world. Our body may be sick, the mind need not be, the intelligence need not be. The sickness is to the material, physical, gross body. But the mind is not a part of the body, nor is it material. It is different from matter. It is consciousness, sentience. And the intelligence also is equally so. So for all the problems of the mind, the solution is in the mind and the intelligence. So we must be able to reach a state of non-deludedness. Samsara dharmaihi avimuhyamanaha smrityaharer bhagavata pradhanaha. Now this description is linked to a devotee, bhagavata pradhanaha. He is the most crowned devotee, crowning devotee. So our mind has got this capacity. The intelligence also has got the skill and the prowess to attain this kind of an unaffectedness in life. Nakama karma bijanam yasya chetasi sambhavaha vasudevaiga nilayaha savai bhagavatottamaha. I don't know whether you understand this. My dear souls, this is all knowledge. I am speaking. Every word denotes knowledge. Words are to express ideas. Idea is a unit of knowledge. So in all that I speak, you find only knowledge distributed, knowledge conveyed, knowledge instilled. The sound is heard by the eardrum, touches the eardrum. And then what happens? Idea reaches the brain. It is formed in the brain. Na kama karma bijanam yasya chetasi sambhavaha. In whose mind kama karma bija, the seed of all actions is kama, desire. So that desire should not sprout in the mind of the man. So in whose mind kama does not sprout. Swamiji, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. As the mind is desireful now, so it can be desire-free. As the mind is thoughtful, it can also be thought-free. For 16 hours of wakefulness, every day you have 8 hours of sleep. What is it? Half the wakefulness. You are immensely active for 16 hours, I agree. But for 8 hours you are non-acting. See the saving factor? The heart takes rest every time. It presses and it is restful. Presses and it is restful. We have 2 legs, we walk. Every time, the one leg that you put forward, if you are walking forward, the other one is getting the rest. Every time it is like that. It's a beautiful system of nature. So in whose mind kama, the root of all karma, does not sprout. How can you achieve it? Vasudevaiga nilayaha. Your refuge should be, your reliance should be, your dependence and rest should be on Vasudeva. That is the Supreme Lord. So you have your restfulness, reliance, refuge on the Supreme Lord. He has designed the world. If He has designed the earth, we are a denizen of the earth. One person, one individual living upon this earth. There are millions and millions of beings upon the earth. I am one of them. All of them are designed by nature. Everything, every living creature has got a heart. Everything is designed by nature. So if it is all designed by nature, my body, all the organs in the body, everything is designed by nature. What about the revolution of the earth? The spinning of the earth on its own axis? Is it not governed by a law, a physics law? Now we are a son or a daughter of the earth. So the same law that is governing the revolution of the earth, the trajectory, etc., orbiting, that is the same law that is governing the beating of the heart and the bellowing of the lungs. If it is God's, depend upon Him. Depend solely upon him. Demand from him that you should be able to bear your suffering. Demand from him, take me away. If it's an incurable disease, take me off. I don't want to live. Why don't you demand? Vasudevaiga nileyaha savai bhagavadottamaha. You tell me now, can the devotee keep quiet? I am a devotee. And God will look after me in everything. Then why is this shloka written there? Na yasya janma karmabhyam na varnashrama jadivihi sajjadesmin aham bhavo dehe vai sahareh priyaha. This is another presentation. What is that? He who does not have janma karmabhyam, either by virtue of his lofty birth in a good family, aristocratic family or so, and then the activity, the type of activity and successfulness that he is able to have, na varnashrama jativihi, either by virtue of the varna or ashrama or jati, sajjade aspin aham bhavo, in the body he should not, due to any one of these or more of these, he should not foster a kind of an undue pride and dominance. So any kind of a pride, abhimana, which is wrong. If we are able to be free of the abhimana, durabhimana, then you are considered to be a good devotee. You tell me, can the devotees keep quiet? Oh, I am trusting God. I am relying on God. Therefore, I have to do nothing. Everything God will do. Okay, God will do. At least that thought should become dominant and it should become wholesome. That should not fail. Na yasya swah paraidi vitteshva atmanivabhida sarvabhuta samasyantaha savai bhagavadottamaha. All these are from the 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the 11th skandha. The 11th skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam is called the Mukti skandha. All these are. Na yasya, for whom, swah paraiti, it is mine, it is I, and it is another. Vitteshu atmanivabhida. This kind of a differential outlook or notion should not be there, either with regard to the wealth or with regard to oneself. Are you hearing? I am sometimes wondering, where is this great and wholesome wisdom? And where is the understanding of the ordinary man? All the devotees feel, you are devotees. Oh, you have nothing else to do. You have everything to do. Make your mind pure, gentle, wholesome, sublime, place it, stable. If you are not attempting to do it, you are an uncultured devotee. You are not a refined devotee at all. You are not fit to live in the society. Na yasya swaparayidi vitteshu atmanivabhida. Don't say, I am a wealthy man. We have so much of money. What is the wealth that you have? Currency notes. Who has printed them? It's a piece of paper. But it is worth 2,000, 1,000 notes are not there, 500, etc. A piece of paper. Who has made it cost so much? The governor of Reserve Bank. I promise to give you the value of. And that you call money and wealth. Wherefrom was the paper made? All the things that we are using, are they not products of the earth in one way or the other? All people have become rich due to what? Either by farming, doing agricultural operations on the earth, or by getting into trade and commerce and manufacture of goods and services. All these are derived from the earth in which you are living. Earth water, air. All these things are the resources for us, fire. So all the wealth that anybody has, in any manner whatsoever, actually are they not belonging to the whole earth and the whole world? Then why do you say it is my health, my wealth? Sarvabhuta samashantaha. You must look at all the creatures and beings in the same manner. Remain peaceful, shantaha, savai bhagavadottamaha. That man is a lofty devotee. I am wondering whether you are with me when I say this. I have a doubt. I am explaining the points. Are you following me? In the name of devotion, you cannot relax. If you have to relax, you have to reach this pedestal of devotion, for which mento-intellectual effort, austerity, discipline, sublimation, elevation, expansion, all are necessary. Now we come back to the 5th chapter. Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate egam Saankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyadi sapashyadi. This is the beauty of Krishna. Arjuna came up with a question. On the one hand, Sankhya Yoga. On the other hand, Karma Yoga. Which is superior, Krishna? Krishna was a very clever man, very intelligent, very dexterous. Now he says the Sankhya and the Karma are exactly alike. Anybody who differentiates between the two is a fool and deluded. This is his answer. Can you imagine? Are you laughing over it, smiling over it, or are you getting enlightened, I wonder? Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate egam Saankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati. Now recite. Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam.
Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam.
Tad yogairapi gamyate.
Tad yogairapi gamyate.
Egam Saankyam cha yogam cha.
Ekam Saankyam cha yogam cha.
Yah pashyati sapashyati.
Yah pashyati sapashyati.
Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam.
Yat Saankhyaih prapyate sthanam.
Tad yogairapi gamyate.
Tad yogairapi gamyate.
Egam Saankyam cha yogam cha.
Ekam Saankyam cha yogam cha.
Yah pashyati sapashyati.
Yah pashyati sapashyati.
See what Krishna says. What is the abode attained by the Sankhya yogis? The same is the abode attained by the yogis. After all, you practice a pursuit. You practice a procedure, a sadhana, an effort, with a view to gain a certain goal. So what is the goal achieved by the Sankhya yogis? The same is the goal attained by the Karma yogis also. From the viewpoint of the goal and its attainment, Egam Saankyam cha yogam cha. Therefore, the Sankhya and the Yoga both should be viewed exactly as alike, the same, identical. Yah pashyati sapashyati. He who is able to equate the two thus, he alone is the right seer and knower. See, Krishna has completely taken away the concept of difference between the two approaches. Whether it is yoga or Sankhya, it is your mind and intelligence that pursue it. As long as it is a mento-intellectual pursuit, what difference can be there between the yogis and the Sankhyas? It is the mind of man, the intelligence of man, These are involved in the practice. Whether you call it devotion and God, or you call it knowledge and knowledge refinement. Ekam Saankyam cha Yogam cha yah pashyati sapashyati. All these ideas are presented. There is a Saankhya Yoga, he spoke about it first. Who heard it? Arjuna heard it. Who reacted to it, responded to it? The intelligence of Arjuna. Krishna also was using the tool of intelligence by himself. I repeatedly say, Arjuna started crying in the battlefield in distress. Krishna spoke to him in an admonishing note. He used only 64 letters. Simply by listening to them, Arjuna's tears simply stopped. His intelligence was activated and he raised a few relevant questions. Krishna started answering. The whole picture changed. The mind that was drowned in grief and misery, the intelligence which was drowned in delusion, both of them underwent a jolt, so to say, as a result of which the distressed Arjuna became sufficiently vibrant and active to raise questions and seek clarification. Where is the grief gone now? Where is the doubt? Where has it fled? This is how knowledge works. It is the same point that Krishna set forth in the 3rd chapter when he said, Logesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. In this world, there is only one nishtha, one pursuit or practice or procedure. Dvividha, it is in 2 ways. The same nishtha. The nishtha is to be practiced by the mind and intelligence. Whether it is yoga, bhakti or karma, what difference does it make? Everything is a mento-intellectual pursuit. That pursuit, the same, but it is in 2 different phases. Jnana yogena sankhyanam. For those people who are intelligent and who can take up the path of introspection, it is pronounced as jnana yoga. And for those who are not so susceptible, so much attuned to think seriously. See, such people are rare, are they not? The intellectuals in this world will be number-wise very rare. The action-oriented people will be in millions and lakhs, trillions also. So the intelligence is after all a higher faculty. Muscular people, weightlifting people will be many. But understanding people, research-oriented people will be rare. So it is a rarity. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. For the people who are capable of taking up contemplation as a wholesome pursuit, it is jnana yoga. And for the others, remain active, act zealously, vigorously, fervently, exclusively. But we will give you some attitudes and orientations for the mind so that the mind will become sublimated more and more, and in the course of a few years, your plight and fate will change. What has he said so far? Yastu atmaredireva syat atmatriptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. We are speaking about activity. Do you know that? One can reach a state where you are not interested in any activity whatsoever. That man is described here, the knower of truth. Yastu atmaradireva syat. He is exulting in his own inner consciousness. Atma triptascha manavaha. He is contented by his own nature and essence. How to explain it? I will explain it. I am good at that. We generally speak of words like joy, delight, contentment, satisfaction, revelry. All these are words using the pleasantness the mind feels. Now you tell me, are these not emotional in nature? Whether it is joy, delight, contentment, or satisfaction. Are they products of the matter world? Can any kind of matter or energy produce contentment? Matter is inert. Our body is also matter, inert. It cannot give rise to any experience or knowledge. So where from experience and knowledge, where from do they come? They come from the inner being. And what is there in the inner being, in the inner dimension? Our mind is there, intelligence is there, ego is there. These are the three which constitute the inner personality. So if the whole body and senses are material, physical, inert, and they cannot produce any experience or knowledge, all the experience arises only from the mind. Mind is not a physical part of the body. It is associated with the body. So the contentment as an emotion belongs to the mind. If you agree this, be intelligent. Don't change your standard. Don't be a falsifier. If contentment and joy belong to the mind, mind alone can produce it. You have the mind always with you. Then why do you look for contentment to the objects of the world? Are you not a fool number one in this world? If you are true to your understanding, contentment does not belong to any object whatsoever. It belongs to the owner, the author of contentment is the mind. And the mind is within you always. So make the mind such that it will remain contented. That is the state. Yastu atmaredireva syat. Atmatriptascha manavaha. One who is an atmaredi, he rejoices in his own inside. Atmatriptaha, he is contented and delighted by his own mind and intelligence. Atmanyevacha santushtaha, he is satisfied with his own being. Tasya karyam na vidyate. For such a person, there is nothing called duty to perform. Duty for whom? My dear world, I want nothing from you. Then why should the world expect anything from me? I want nothing from you. I don't need anything from you. I am full in my body with matter, and inside I am full with my soul, with the sentience. So nothing can add to me, nothing can make me lesser also. So this kind of an abundance, inner abundance and fullness is possible. For such a man, there is no duty at all. Tasmad asaktas satadam karyam karma samachara asakto hyajaran karma paramapnodi purusha. This is another formula he has provided in the 3rd chapter, 19th verse. Tasmad asaktas satadam karyam karma samachara. What is karma yoga? Karma yoga is not doing of actions. Karma yoga is enriching ourselves with that yogic attitude and refinement. That yogic refinement, it comes from the intelligence, by understanding it. Therefore, free of delusional clinging, always act well, beautifully well. Any function that you do should become perfect, effective, wholesome. There is no half-hearted performance at all. When the mind is stable and when the mind is healthy, the performance will also be so. Asakto hyacharan karma paramapnodi purushaha. Without any emotional clinging, if you start living and doing work in this world, you will find that you attain the Supreme. What is this Sankhya Yoga? Are you not finding in all these verses and my explanations, they are all meant for the mind and the intelligence. It's a mento-intellectual pursuit. No lamp is lit, no flowers are thrown, and no special mantras also are chanted. These are all providing, generating, instilling and preserving greater and greater nodes of refinement, sublimity, attunement in your own mind and intelligence. What is the Sankhya Yoga? Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukhadaha agamapayino anityaha tan tidikshasva bharata. This is 14th verse in the 2nd chapter. Our life is an interaction. Where is the interaction taking place? In our sensory level. How many senses do we have? 5. Sense of knowledge. Senses of knowledge. So, matra means senses. These are the 5 senses. Which are they? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. It is these senses that we use as instruments to measure and cognize the world objects. The eyes determines the colors, eyes determine the colors and shapes. The ears determine the qualities of sound. The nose determines the various kinds of smell. Tongue determines the taste and skin touches. So these are instruments which are fixed in our body with a view to measure and assess the world objects. It is these senses that are contacted by the objects of the world. Light rays reflected from the objects come and touch the cornea. Until they touch the cornea, the eye will not send electrical pulses to the brain center. So the senses require contact. So matra sparshaha, the entire life is an interaction between the senses and the objects. Interaction is that. The world may be infinite and plural or infinitely plural, manifold. But our 5 sensory organs make them just 5. Tell me which are superior now. The infinite world is superior or the 5-fold senses superior? Suppose we had only 2 senses, the entire world would have become 2. If we had only 1 sense, then the world would have become 1. Our senses alone show us the world. Senses alone show the world, reveal the world. So the world is revealed, it is not revealing. It is dead, it is inert, insentient. It cannot do anything. We are seeing, we are feeling, we are comprehending, we are cognizing, we are assessing, determining, classifying. This is a pen. Who says this? Our eyes say this. It is smooth. Who says this? Our own fingers, skin. Understand that the senses make the world and see the world. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukkadaha. Like Shita and Ushna, cold and heat, one opposed to the other. These sense and sensory objects, when they come to interact between themselves, sukhadukkadaha, they bring about Sukha and Dukkha, one after the other. Agamapayinaha, they will come and go. Anityaha, and therefore they are not permanent but transitory. Therefore, tidikshasva bharata, forbear them. Any Sukha comes after Dukkha, and any Sukha is followed by Dukkha. So tell me thoughtfully, if Sukha can follow only Dukkha, and Sukha will be succeeded by Dukkha, so for every Sukha you have two Dukkhas. So is Sukha desirable then? My dear souls, you cannot escape. You cannot escape. Be not a fool. For every Sukha I must have two Dukkhas. And for every Dukkha I must have two Sukhas. So between Sukha and Dukkha, tell me which is better. So the flair for Sukha, bury it, dismiss it, overwhelm it, overpower it, devalue it, call it a traitor. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha daha. They come only to go. They go only to come. And they are coming and going because we are remaining. They don't remain, we remain. Allowing them to come and go. So they are transitory, and if at all, you are permanent. Tan tidikshasva bharata. Develop tolerance, forbearance towards them. When this knowledge dawns in you, and it starts empowering your vision, empowering your outlook, empowering your responses, you will find the dukkha and the sukha become lighter and lighter and lighter. And what is the logical climax? They become lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, feebler and feebler and feebler and feebler. Yes, in the hands of the enlightened intelligence, in the hands of the intelligent observer, they are bound to become light. If there is any agency in the whole creation which can act upon the human mind, my dear souls, understand that it is the human intelligence. You cannot get into your mind and bring about a change or transformation in it unless you employ the intelligence for the purpose. That is how when Krishna spoke 64 letters and Arjuna heard them, his tears stopped and his intelligence was activated and he enquired rationally. In all these, whether it is devotion, karma yoga or Sankhya yoga, don't you find the mind and intelligence are equally applicable? All are mento-intellectual pursuit. Yam hina vyathayandyede purusham purusharshapha samadukha sukham dhiram sobratattvaya kalpade. This is the next verse, 15 from the second chapter. Yam hina vyathayandyede purusham purusharshapha. How do you describe spirituality? Whom do you describe to be spiritually great? He whose mind is not afflicted, tormented, perplexed or de-seated, enfeebled by these sukha-dukhas. These sukha-dukhas, what are they? Like ingoing and outgoing breaths, like the beating of the heart, the bellowing of the lungs. What are they? They are a natural corollary of our sensory interactions. Do you want to have interactions throughout the day? Yes. Then understand that Sukha Dukhas also will become concurrent. You have nothing to do about them. Dukkha will be ousted by Sukha and Sukha will be succeeded by Dukkha. When you understand that this is so, that understanding becomes so powerful that the Dukkha and Sukha impact will progressively dwindle and dwindle. And you will reach a state of beautiful inner placidity, inner harmony, inner enrichment, elevation, expansion. A beautiful word is there, equipoise. Cultivate it. Our Sukha Dukhas help us to cultivate it. The drowning waters help you to learn swimming, and after swimming you can be afloat in water. Otherwise it will drown you. In the same manner, you must be able to remain afloat in your own mind, which produces Sukha Dukhas. Remain afloat. Samadukha sukham dhiram somratatvaya kalpade. Such a man is said to be fit for liberation. The inner spiritual ecstatic freedom. Inner spiritual ecstatic freedom. This is a flexibility that you should cultivate. This is an assimilative power that you should be able to cultivate. What are these Sukha Dukhas? One you like, only the other you dislike. Prefer neither. Neither do you prefer anything, nor do you abhor anything. Open your mind. Give a place for both. And be harmonious with both. Never choose between the two. Never reject between the two. Develop a sense of flexibility, harmony, uniformity, and equipoise. Now let us come to Karma Yoga. This is Sankhya Yoga. Karma Yoga, what is that? Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tiktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyade. In the Sankhya Yoga he says samadukha sukham dhiram. That wise man who is becoming equally disposed to Sukha and Dukkha. Equally disposed to Sukha and Dukkha. Here he says, he who is equally disposed to Siddhi and Asiddhi. So that equalness towards becomes common to both. So where is the difference between Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga? My dear souls, are you understanding? Where is the difference now? In the Sankhya, the equalness was towards Sukha and Dukkha, the two kinds of emotion, which constantly result from sense-object interaction. Here he says, whenever you do a work, it may succeed in bringing about the expected fruition, or it may not. So it is the fruition and fulfillment of your work, or its absence. Develop Samatva towards them. But whether it is towards Sukha Dukhas or Siddhi and Asiddhi, Samatva is common. That is from the mind. So if you understand the two as a practice, mento-intellectual pursuit, where is the difference between Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga? It is both the pursuit of equipoise, equalness, evenness, flexibility, assimilativeness. In both Yoga and Sankhya, the intelligence's role is alike. There is no difference at all. One is being uniform towards Sukha and Dukkha, the two emotional or mental responses. The other is the same equal disposition towards Siddhi or Asiddhi, fruition or non-fruition of what you do, of your actions. The external links alone are different in both. The internal reformation, reliance and refinement are the same. Am I clear? I have never explained these points earlier, any time earlier like this. External links are different, but internal reformation, the reliance that you try to bring about, the harmony that you try to bring about is the same. So, are not Sankhya and Yoga the same now? Are they not both alike, leading to the same attainment of freedom, flexibility, harmony and integration? Where is the difference now? See Krishna's explanation. I tell you, Bhagavad Gita is a profound book, Baba. But ordinarily people will not be able to read it and understand the whole worth of it. It requires dedication, it requires austerity, it requires a path of refinement. You cannot be idle, you have to be sensitive, attentive. You have to be focused. You have to be committed, exclusive. I am wondering, am I frightening you and helping you? Am I frightening you? Or am I enlightening you to understand matters and take up the practice in a very easy, natural and poised manner? Who will give me a reply? This is a point that seekers and devotees fail to grasp. I had a devotee who became a sannyasin. She was the wife of a colonel. That colonel was so during the British Raj here. She was a very, very wholesome devotee of Lord Krishna and Vishnu. She took up sannyasa. She became a sannyasini. One time she was telling me, Swamiji, I am a very great and wholesome devotee of the Lord. But this is what you are saying, this Samatva, neither hating nor loving, neither fearing. See, this kind of equipoise, that equalness, that is not working in me. I am an extremist. She used to say, I used to laugh. You will change. Read it. She started reading and explaining Bhagavad Gita. That extremist person. So be exposed, my dear souls. Be reflective. Be introspecting. Be thoughtful. What for is your intelligence? Only to do introspection. Everybody is doing introspection. But with regard to your profession, professional goals, professional performance, etc. But the same introspection you should also do about the functioning of the mind, the functioning of the intelligence, the different emotional urges of the mind. Analyze the interactional life. Understand that they are producing alike Sukha and Duhkha in the level of the mind. Be not swinging. Do not undulate. Try to remain afloat. Now he comes to the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachire nadhigacchadi. Sannyasastu mahabaho. Oh Mahabaho, one who has powerful hands. Sannyasaha ayogataha dukkham aptum. This path of sannyasa is difficult to attain by one who has not practiced yoga at least for a period. On the other hand, if a person is given sufficiently to yoga, that person becomes introspecting by nature, very introspective he becomes, and he attains the goal before long. So he says, yoga is better than sannyasa. I will explain it the next day. I shall stop now. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptum ayogadaha. Very difficult for the non-yogis to attain sannyasa. Yoga yukto munir brahma najirena adhigacchadi. Don't you think that it is like pure mathematics? See, concepts are presented. They are compared, contrasted. In a golden balance, everything is weighed and the value clearly told to you. It sharpens your intelligence. It stabilizes your mind, integrates your mind, reforms and refines your mind. You don't have to do anything else. Read Bhagavad Gita. Reflect upon the message. Reflect upon the message. Go into every word, every word. What does it mean? What does it mean? Luckily, in the English language, we have got ample words to translate. See, I am talking to you in English. Am I not bringing forth the concepts in all their profundities? Okay, let me stop. I am wondering, my dear viewers, am I talking to you usefully? Or you find it hard? See, I cannot but explain these concepts in an experiential manner, relating to your life and interactions, the interaction life. Even a small measure of understanding you will find, it provides a mountainous measure of enrichment for you. Even if you are able to understand one typical word of Bhagavad Gita, by the time you understand, your mind will have been reformed and the intelligence refined. Understand, this body is inert. It is a mass of matter. The whole life is revolving, resting on your inner personality. Should you not understand it today or tomorrow? Can you postpone it? If you want to live well and make your life comfortable, some knowledge of life is necessary. When I ask you, what is life? I have asked so many people, they say, we haven't thought about it. If you don't think about it, how can you improve your life? You make a good house and you live in it. The poor house doesn't do anything for you, it remains where it is. You are moving about. So even within the house, if you have to make your life comfortable, your own mind and intelligence will have to understand and strive for it. So I want this Bhagavad Gita to run parallel to your life, parallel to your mind. Every day read at least 1 or 2 slokas. If it is mere recitation, recite 1 chapter and read 1 or 2 slokas. Try to understand them, split the words. Try to form the Anvaya if possible, otherwise try to understand the whole phraseology. Reflect upon it. You are interacting with knowledge, and that interaction will make you more and more knowledgeable. The intelligence will become sharper. It will become more resourceful. The mind will become stable. It will become refined, reformed. And the power of assimilation will be far better. Every day it will grow. You start reading Gita from tomorrow onwards and tell me what happens after a week or after 10 days. Your assimilation will become more. We had been to West Bengal, Murshidabad district, the Dakshin Khanda. We are conducting a Bengali Satsang. I also speak. During the Dakshin Khanda visit, I spoke liberally in Bengali, though I don't know much of Bengali. I spoke. Everything I spoke. Fierely also I spoke with the same facility as I do in English or other languages. You know, those innocent women, they were saying, Swamiji, we are different now. Our tolerance is more. We are able to see things with a lighter mind, with a lighter attitude. And always they are in smiles. They heard my talks with smileful faces. I spoke the same philosophy. I make some pure statements. One statement maybe I have made before you, I will make today and then stop. See, I say, my dear God, I don't want to remember you. Don't make me remember you. There are many people who will say, I want to remember God during the last breath and before. I say no. It's a very miserable plight. Don't make me remember you. Why? Because I think of remembering you only when I forget you. Only when I forget, I have to remember. So to remember means to have forgotten. Do I like it? No. One point. Second point is, suppose I remember you, what do? I remember you. If I happen to forget you, whom do I forget? I forget you. So I find in my forgetfulness and remembrance, you alone are there. So what difference is there between remembering and forgetting you? The I is common and you also are common, is common. So where is the difference between the two? My dear souls, this is how you rise to a transcendental life. Are you mocking at me or are you absorbing the message? I would like you to know. I wish you were all visible before me. See, who can question my proposition? Is there anybody in the world who can set aside what I am saying? Our culture is great. Our value sense is great. Our devotion is great. Our wisdom and knowledge are great, great and great. Stupendously so. So all these discussions are to be viewed from that point of view. Okay, I wish you well. Samvedyavarjitamanuttamamekamadhyam samvitpadam vigalanam. Is it not after? Om is after this. Samvedyavarjitamanuttamamekamadhyam samvitpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyevadishta kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadamethya samodita shri. Kurvan agartrapadamethya samodita shri. Harihi, 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 Harihi. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Take the pose for it by interlocking your fingers, etc. Harihi. Okay. I wonder whether you are smiling or you are gloomy. I would like you to be always smiling. That itself is a sadhana. All that you need are lips and teeth, which you already have. So be smiling. Hari Om Tat Sat. Everywhere is God. The world is completely smeared with God. You also. So there is enough to smile.